Stephen, I wonder, do you consider yourself just a citizen of Suffolk, or are you an English citizen, a British citizen, a global citizen?
Why isn't India now sending us money instead of us sending money to India?
Such a Grinch. Me, only me. You can't have any. You're like a child in a playground.
All right, Tessa.
No, I'm not all right. I'm really upset, actually, by this. Only me, only I matter. Me and my little England brick out the rest of the world. Who do we think we are?
It was
This woman got a reality check when she realised not everyone sees themselves as global citizens like she does. This woman has the same worldview as the government and the liberal establishment, and it is that worldview they are forced upon the country without the people's consent. It explains this extreme form of diversity, multiculturalism, and mass immigration. It is the reason the rest of the world is allowed to move here and be immediately prioritised before the British people. These people reject the idea of us being a nation with a unique culture and history, and everything they do is designed to undermine that. It's telling how she absolutely flips out and calls him a mean, racist little Englander for wanting to focus aid here rather than giving it away to the world. My ex, who is of Chinese heritage, was doing wedding makeup for some blue-haired liberals. They got talking about vitamin supplements, and she said she buys hers from a company called British Supplements. They became suspicious and asked why she bought from them. She replied that they use top quality ingredients and they're a British company and she prefers to keep the money here in homegrown businesses. They took offence to that and tried to denounce her as a xenophobic racist. That is the level of intellect and intolerance of these people. They've all been to university and they hold jobs where they get to influence the country. The council, museums, and just about every other institution is full of people who follow this new religion, and anyone who doesn't get in line is accused of blasphemy. This is partly why we prefer to get away from the cosmopolitan cities and spend time in villages and towns in the countryside instead. But even there we can't escape it. We recently bought English Heritage membership, but I know these blue-haired liberals are employed here as well as places like the National Trust. Of course we live in a global interconnected world. I care about the world. For example, I care about protecting penguins, and they are on the other side of the world. But you can do that from a position of loving your own unique country. These people don't allow that because in reality, they don't care about the world. They just hate Britain. Take a listen to this.
That shouldn't happen.
Let's bring Tessa in. Tessa, is he right?
Stephen, I wonder, do you consider yourself just a citizen of Suffolk, or are you an English citizen, a British citizen, a global citizen? Where does accountability stop? After all, we were the first country to industrialise, therefore our impact on the climate proportional per head is, I think, something like 160 times higher than the average Ethiopians. Likewise, we had a thumping great empire, which impacted on many poorer countries' ability,
around the globe.
which impacted on many countries' ability to govern themselves. Leadership has taken much longer. They weren't released from the yoke of Britishness until, in many cases, after the Second World War. So where do we say we're washing our hands with you? And do you think in the long term that's going to deliver for us as a global player out with the EU?
By the way, okay, it's as simple as that. Our money should stay in this country. It shouldn't go to foreign countries. Simple. Let them sort themselves out. We have a debt in this country, as simple as that.
Well, but the question that Tessa asked, Stephen, the question that Tessa asked you that I thought was interesting. Stephen, give me a chance, my darling. Tessa asked you an interesting question. She said, do you see yourself as a citizen of Suffolk or Great Britain or the world? How do you see yourself? What was the answer to that?
I see myself as English, and I see myself as this country. I don't see myself as a world country, and I don't care about all this giving money to foreigners.
All right, thank you for the call, and we appreciate it. That was an honest answer to your question. Let's talk
here. Springing out from her mellifluous voice is the milk of human kindness.
Yes, but how much kindness is shown to this country? For instance, there are 5 or 6 countries in the world which are better off than we are. Why don't America send us money? Why don't China send us money? Why isn't India now sending us money instead of us sending money to India?
These are... Such a Grinch. Me, only me. You can't have any. You're like a child in a playground.
Are you all right, Tessa?
No, I'm not all right. I'm really upset, actually, by this. Only me, only I matter. Me and my little England brick out the rest of the world. Who do we think we are?
It was a serious question. We don't get money from countries richer than us, but we are still giving money to countries poorer than us. And the old argument about, oh, well, if you give money to other countries, it helps their citizens to stay there and not come to this country. Utter nonsense.
I'm
wondering
whether what might make much more sense than any of this is if we, the voters, had a say in the spending of foreign aid.
Yeah.
If we could say what we prioritise and what we value, rather than this feeling that money that we need and could do with is being kind of distributed and we don't quite know why or what to.
Or we could just say we don't want to, because on top of the foreign aid budget, we send farmers around the world another £506 million whilst we're punishing farmers in this country.
Right,
that's an outrage.
Let's go to
What's imperilled is a massive child vaccination scheme which has saved the lives of 1.1 billion children.
Everybody agrees that that's a very worthy cause.
Absolutely.
And on Vanessa's theory, examine that to say yes, but examine some of the others and say no.
Absolutely.
It's as simple as that.
But there is generally accountability. For example, this vaccination scheme is done in cahoots with the Bill and Melissa Gates Foundation,
and we're all supporting that. We're all supporting that.
I know, but I think the worry is that there's sort of random spurious headlines where a right-wing paper, I'm going to name the Telegraph in this instance, discovers that, a little bit of the money, a tiny drop of the money went on a cycle scheme in somewhere like Malaysia. And that is enough to trigger this disproportionate response.
But I don't know if it is disproportionate.
No.
If you're really struggling financially in this country, if you can't get an appointment to see your GP, if you're on an NHS waiting list and you're literally in pain every single day, and then you read that money has been wasted on a cycling scheme in Malaysia, even if it's hypothetical, then it doesn't feel as if it's a tiny drop of wasted money. It feels like a personal affront to you, your family, your life, and you just think, hang on, wait, did I ever sign up to this? Yeah, I mean, this is obviously a subject that really does get people very riled up. And also, shouldn't we only send money to countries where we know there is a stable political framework? Because often they go to countries which are ruled by dictatorships.